For trading it all, if I gave
Welcome back, everyone. My next guest is Brian Riley, and he's an associate attorney with Zanes Law. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what we're going to talk about today.
First off, Carol, thank you so much for having me on the show. I am an associate attorney at Zanes Law. We're a personal injury law firm that practices statewide and all over the state of Arizona. The basic way to describe myself is I walk into the office every single day, and my goal is to help people who have been harmed by someone else who has injured them, and then who also need to be or deserve to be compensated for those injuries that they suffered.
Now, you obviously do free consultations with everyone. You got to find out what's going on first.
Absolutely, yeah. Go ahead and give us a call. Definitely give us a call. Let us know what happened, what's going on with you, what your injuries are, and we'd be happy to talk about it with you any time of the day.
So now, here's the thing. Yes, you might be out there and might have been in a crunchola just now. A lot of people, it happens to them. We always think personal injury for car accidents, but it's certainly not just that. So there's other reasons why you have a personal, it could be a dog bite, lots of other things. Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any time that you've suffered an injury and it could be the cause of someone else's negligence, for example, you have a personal injury case. So whether it's a dog bite, like you just mentioned, if you slipped and fell at a store, definitely give us a call. We want to learn about those facts. We want to learn about those injuries, and we want to help you.
And it's all about the case. It's all about the case. You got to find out whether you got a case, right?
Exactly, and that's why we need people to give us a call. We'll be there to coach you and let you know whether you actually do have a case or not, and we'd be happy to, again, help anybody statewide of the state of Arizona. So
now they have 2 offices in Tucson, but also they have one here. They work with people statewide. You can call them. They do free consultations at 602-999-9999. So it's a real easy number to remember. The website is Zanes, Zanes Law.com, and just go up on the website. See, actually, the first thing that you to do is just call them. I mean, you can go on the website, see all about them, but really, when you have an issue, you want to find out how they can help you. Sometimes a lot of people think of, with PI attorneys, it's all about the money. It's really not, is it? I mean, it's their right to get help.
We need to help people recover from their injuries first. So that's really our number one goal first off. Of course, our goal is to also compensate you for the injuries that you suffered, but we also need to get you better, and that's something that we do a great job with. One thing, just like you mentioned, when you do call, we will be there to answer your call. You can definitely get connected with an attorney right away. We have plenty of attorneys on staff, and we're all willing to help.
Again, that phone number to call, it's easy to remember. It's 602-999-9999. It's Zanes Law. It's Zanes Law.com. Why is it so important for people to call an attorney right after something happens?
There's so many reasons why it's so important, but the main reason why I would say it's important is because it's good to have someone on your side advocating for you. Almost right after an accident, it's very typical for people to feel as if they're the victim, even if it possibly wasn't their fault. You have insurance adjusters calling you, you're receiving bills in the mail from possibly the hospital or medical providers, and it really probably wasn't even your choice to go there. Maybe you're having a towing agency giving you a call saying that they're saying, hey, you owe us money, and you're saying, well, wait a second here, I was just sitting in traffic, I did nothing wrong here, and all of a sudden I was rear-ended, and now I'm having to foot the bill on this. So when you call an attorney, when you call us, we'll be there to help you, we'll be there to advocate for you, and really direct all those calls our way so we can deal with them appropriately.
And you can get yourself healthy.
Exactly, and that's your number one priority. Get yourself healthy. That's how we're going to be able to help you with your case the best once you're fully recovered.
So can somebody do something to protect themselves or an injury claim, let's say, before anything happens?
Absolutely, and the way that you would do that is really just by researching and purchasing the correct type of insurance for yourself, whether that's health insurance, making sure that you have adequate health insurance, that you've researched and that your medical doctors actually do accept that health insurance. And the other thing is, let's say it's a car accident, or if you're for your vehicle, you want to make sure that you have the appropriate auto coverage as well, making sure that you have adequate bodily injury limits just in case you hurt somebody else. Also looking into whether you need or would like to have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. There's a lot of people, especially in the Phoenix area and in southern Arizona, who don't carry insurance on their vehicle, and it's important that you pay for that insurance for your own vehicle if someone else doesn't have insurance to cover you for your injuries. So those are the injury types of insurances that I would definitely suggest for you to purchase, as well as any of the insurances to protect your own vehicle. And if, let's say, your vehicle is disabled, a rental insurance coverage, a comprehensive coverage, and then of course collision coverage. And those are all good questions that you can definitely give us a call. We'd be happy to give you some examples of types of insurance coverage that you might need, but also talking with your insurance agent.
I don't know if anyone would agree with me or not, but I think Arizonians are probably the worst drivers. I don't mean to say they're the worst, the craziest. They drive fast, and they don't let you in, and I mean, it's so easy. There's so many accidents. I see so many, and so this is important for you, and you have this right. It's not about just, the money. It's not about that. It's about finding out, obviously if you're hurt, there's, oh my God, wrongful death. I mean, I don't know if you deal with that too.
Absolutely.
But things happen, and you should find out what your rights are, number one, what your rights are and what they can do for you. So write the number down. It's 602-999-9999. They do free consultations, and their website is Zanes, that's with an S, Zanes Law.com. They have 2 offices in Tucson and one right here in Phoenix, but they work with people statewide. Again, it's 602-999-9999. Okay, I wanted to kind of also go over some other things with you. In terms of when somebody is out there and they are, let's say right now, they've been in an accident, is it best to call you immediately? Or, because a lot of people, they are, they're a little stressed out. They go home, they think they're okay, and the other person says they're okay, and then they get a phone call that they're not okay. I mean, what is the best time? When is the best time to actually call?
That's a great question, and like I said, we welcome calls anytime. So if you'd like to call us right after you're in an accident, hopefully that's not happening to you right now. You certainly can, and you have the number here. But I would also advise that you call your local police department, whether it's the Phoenix Police Department or really just dialing 911. It's important that you're starting to get the information you need to protect your personal injury claim for later. So you're going to need that insurance information from the other driver, let's say if it was that type of case, as well as their name and their contact information and these things. And the best way to ensure that is by calling the police department, since they are professionals in dealing with those situations, and they'll make sure to help you document that information to the best of their ability.
Now let's talk a little bit about, before we go to a break, about the fact that there are all sorts of personal injuries that happen. Obviously, we also know about dog bites that can happen, but there's other things that can happen. You can fall. I had a friend of mine who I knew that was a stenographer, and she actually was in a restaurant, and her finger got caught on the chair, and she lost part of her finger. So that's obviously not a car accident. Yeah. But give some other examples of some types of PI that you do.
There's no question that an injury at any place can affect you in your lifestyle and also in your workplace. It's funny you say that, because I've handled cases just like that, where I had a nurse who was injured in an accident at a restaurant, and she hurt her finger bad enough that she could no longer be a nurse anymore. Mm-hmm. She relied on her being able to use her hands and fingers, and she couldn't do that for a pretty long period of time. So whenever you're caught in a situation where something just didn't seem right. Let's say you're walking through an aisle at a store. Let's say you're walking by an ice machine and you slip and you fall and you bruise your backside.
That banana peel was on the floor.
You bruise your backside. You want to make sure that you get the appropriate medical attention as soon as possible. You can definitely try talking with a manager. Let's say if it's at a store, to report the claim. And really, for those premise incidents, we definitely like to be involved as soon as possible to assert and advocate for you as soon as possible, because we want to make sure that we're there to get that evidence that we need to preserve your case the best way possible.
Again, that phone number, it's 602-999-9999, so it's really easy to remember. You could check them out. It's Zanes, Zanes Law.com. We're going to go ahead to a break, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about some of the other things that you can do to help people out there. And don't think of it as that these guys are ambulance chasers. They're not. They're here to help you and be your advocate. advocate. The number again to call them at 602-999-9999. We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back, everyone. We are talking here with Brian Riley. He's an associate attorney with Zanes Law. We're talking a little bit about PI and personal injury, but there's a lot that goes along with that. The number one thing that I think people also should know too is that how do you work fee-wise? Because everybody thinks that they don't realize how you work.
Yeah, this is a great question, and it's one of the first questions that I normally field.
How much is it going to cost me?
Exactly. And everyone thinks of attorneys, oh my God, this is going to cost so much money. I don't have the money to pay for this. But we only take a fee on your case if we actually win your case, and it's based off a percentage. So once we actually meet, we'll be talking about that percentage and how we actually get paid. But we are essentially taking a chance on ourselves and our ability and the facts that you've provided to us for what happened to you, and essentially saying, you know what, we're going to be able to help you with this case, and we're going to do all this work, and we're going to make sure that we win this case for you, and that's the only way that we're ultimately going to be paid at the very end, which is the same exact time where you also get paid and compensated for your case. So it's not a gamble for you. You give us a call, we'll make sure to set that consultation and discuss the contract, and any questions, we'd be happy to answer those.
I'll tell you something, you got to know if you got a case. That's what it's all about first, finding out, do you have a case? Because it's not as cut and dry all the time, and that's why you have to talk to them about what's going on.
That's a great point. There's so many complicating factors, and that's why discussing the case with an attorney is such an important thing to do early on, because you want to make sure that you preserve your case. If you don't do it the right way in the beginning, it can get a little messy, and it can be hard to put all the pieces back together.
Right. You could either lose a lot of money, or you could maybe not get what you should have gotten.
Absolutely.
So again, you could check them out. Their website is Zanes, Zanes Law.com. They do free consultations for everyone. They don't even take any money from you until they've won your case. They've got 2 offices in Tucson and 1 here, and they work with people valley-wide. Write this number down, put it in your phone. It's a good number to have handy, because anything can happen at any time to anybody. So the number to call is 602-999-9999. So it's really easy to remember. Okay, so what's the difference with going with someone like you or to the big competitors that are out there that we all know about?
Yeah, at Zanes Law, we are very service-oriented and service-based. Let's say you give us a call for your case, you're going to have a multitude of people working on your case all at one time. We all have direct phone numbers, and you'll definitely be able to contact us all directly. We're very technology-driven. We've created the Zanes Law portal, where it allows clients to access a portal, and it allows you to interact and contact with your attorney, with your paralegal, and any other people who are also involved in your case directly, almost like a Facebook feed. So you post a question, you'll get an answer, and it kind of goes back and forth. And we also have automated videos that are sent out throughout the life of your case, because there are stages in the case, and people often get confused. Okay, what's going on with my case now? What's the next step? What does that mean exactly? And we'll be sending you a video to clarify that information, in case, even if it's explained to you over the phone, you can go back and reference the video, or even just call again, or send a message on the portal. We're very easily accessible.
I like that, because most people, when they're listening, they don't get it, especially when you're listening to an attorney and you're using big words or something like that, and you're nervous about things, and it could be, this was a great tool for your clients.
Absolutely, and it just keeps everyone in contact and everything documented really well. Whenever I'm arguing a case, the more facts I have about how this has actually affected not just the medical bills they incurred, not just the pain they talk about in the records where they're speaking with their doctors, but how this has actually affected their life. When we have that documented neatly and organized, I can use those points to really drive the value of the case and get the compensation for my clients that they actually deserve.
Write the number down. phone. It's not always a car accident. It can be anything that happens at any time. Put it in your phone. You got it there. And if you ever need them, you can call them direct, or if you need them now, you can call them direct. That number is 602-999-9999. I feel like I'm on a Beatles tune. You don't know what that is either. You're too young, but there is something on the White Album with that. So it's 602-999-9999. It's Zanes Law. .com. Obviously, they do free consultations, and also this is no fee to you until they win your case. So you can call them again. That's 602-999-9999. The other thing that I wanted to kind of go over with you are some of the things like what happens if someone's in a brand new car, like a sports car, they just bought it, and all of a sudden they're rear-ended, okay, at a stoplight. So the car is repairable, but they have to close. Do they have to disclose to the next buyer that it was in an accident? Do they have to do all that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I
think you do.
Yeah, you definitely do. It's always the best policy is just to be honest. But what I think you're talking about, and this is something that I try to help all my clients with, is a diminished value claim.
Right. That was the mother's sentence here, and I didn't get to it, so go ahead. That's
a big word, but for just to clarify what that means for people, and you typically see it when you have somebody who has a fairly brand new sports car, just like you mentioned. Brand new sports car right off the lot, less than 1,000 miles on it. It's banged up in an accident. They repair the vehicle, but when, later on in 3 or 4 years, when you have to actually go and sell that vehicle and disclose that it wasn't an accident and it has replacement parts on it, typically buyers are a little bit wary of that, and they're not going to be willing to pay as much as it would be compared to, let's say, the same vehicle that was 5 years old and just had the same type of wear and tear as you normally would for an accident, for a vehicle that was never involved in an accident.
It's been in an Owie.
So, exactly. So what we do is we try to recover the difference between why that vehicle is basically going to be only sold for so much compared to what it would have been sold for had it not been in this accident.
You can help people with that?
Absolutely.
So in other words, let me get that right for you, from you, because I got to think like them out there. So if their car was in an accident and they, even if it happened a while ago, like 3 years ago or whatever, and they needed to sell it, you can get them, they can call you and talk to you and get a better, for the insurance to cover it through you, better than if they tried to do it on their own?
So the timetable is obviously key.
Right, that's right. It has to be.
Yeah, there's statute of limitations. There's things that sometimes people do where they sign agreements where they're basically waiving their rights to ever pursue a claim, let's say on their property damage claim. That would just be an example. So the answer is the answer to that question is that it depends. But if you are in that situation, I would suggest for you to call us, and we can definitely talk about it. If you're in a car accident and it's a recent car accident, that's the best time for us to really jump in, because we're able to sort of dictate what the insurance company is sending you off to you to sign, and we're able to just sort of intervene at the proper moment so we can actually preserve your diminished value case.
So that's really great news, because a lot of people do. They got in an accident, and after a little while they're thinking, gosh, maybe I want to dump this. How do I do it? You can call them. They do free consultations. They can find out how they can help you. Again, that number is 602-999-9999. Okay, so what should someone do if they're doing physical therapy and their pain just doesn't go away?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that happens a lot here in Phoenix. I mean, just like you mentioned earlier, the accidents here in Phoenix especially are at a very high rate. They're at a high rate of speed. They really are. I've seen more people in some bad car crunches up here than I have when I was living in Tucson or when I was living in Flagstaff as well. So down here in the valley, you really see some horrible wreckage. So sometimes people, they do go through their scheduled course of treatment that their doctor is recommending for them, and it's just not working. They're not really. They kind of come to a standstill, or they're just not able to. They're not feeling any more relief from what they're doing, and this happens all the time, and this is another reason why it's important to have an attorney, because when this happens, it's important to have that conversation with the attorney, and the attorney should, definitely advise you to probably go back and talk to your doctor to see what else that he might be able to do for you.
How long is there a statute of limitation on that too? Because let's say somebody did get into a bad car accident and they're not better. They never get better, and it's years or a couple of years or whatever it is. Is there a statute of limitation on that?
So typically, the statute of limitations for the situation that you just described is 2 years. But of course, there's so many exceptions to the rule.
There is always.
You really need to be careful, and it can be a shorter time. It could be a year. It could be longer if you're a minor. The really important thing, and the best way that I can answer that question, is for you to actually call an attorney, talk about the facts of your accident, and then we'll be able to give you the proper analysis and the proper advice on that issue.
I'll tell you something. It sounds like, when somebody says, just call us, it's not about them begging you to call. It is what it is. I mean, in this situation, calling an attorney and finding out exactly what they can do for you, whether or not it's a year old or a couple years, they can even help you there. Obviously, if you're in an accident now, pick up the phone, call them right away, get yourself some help, but find out how they can help you. Again, that number is 602-999-9999. They do free consultations, and it's zaneslaw.com, and you don't pay them until they win your case. Again, it's 602-999-9999.